Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Goldeneye, starring Pierce Brosnan, Sean Bean, Isabella Scorupco, Famke Janssen, Judi Dench, Desmond Llewellyn, Samantha Bond, Robbie Coltrane, and Alan Cumming, and directed by Martin Campbell. Hey, that's funny, I just reviewed his Green Lantern movie. And I will be seeing his work again when I get to the remake of Casino Royale. What are the odds of that? So, let's just get into this movie because I never saw it in theaters and I didn't know much about it. Except for maybe the director of Goldeneye trailer from Mask of Zorro, but who am I to judge? We see someone running and jumping on a wire, and who is this person? James Bond, played by Pierce Brosnan, who forgot to knock when someone is taking care and knocks him out, taking a crap, and knocks him out, and he meets up with 006, aka Alec Trevelyan, or something like that, played by Sean Bean. Forgive me if I said the name wrong. As they finish a mission together, until Alec gets shot, and James gets away and jumps on a plane and gets out of it and comes out back in and flies the plane, which is the best opening of any Bond film in my opinion. But my problem with Pierce Brosnan is he's Irish, not English. And the theme song by Tina Turner sounds like a song that belongs in a club. Next scene, we meet Xena Onatopp, played by Famke Janssen, who races with James while he's on a psychology trip. And they trip some bikers, and this scene is hilarious because as we see Xena in the casino playing blackjack with James, as she loses, and they get to meet after the race, and Xena is Russian, who I remember is supposed to be erotic in a menacing kind of way, and while Pierce Brosnan has charisma as James Bond, and she pulls off the erotic menace off very well. In Russia, we meet Natalia Simonova, forgive me if I said that wrong, played by Isabella Scorupco, and Boris Grishenko, played by Alan Cumming, earlier days before I saw him in a movie, but I'm not going to say which one it is, hacking the U.S. Department of Justice and the FBI headquarters. And I do like Alan Cumming in general, but unfortunately, this isn't the greatest performance, and he's confronted by Xena with the general, and Natalia witnesses Xena killing the general and others, and witnessing their next target, and Natalia hides in the vents, and Natalia, I realize, is the Bond girl, and as the character Scorupco plays it kinda damn sad. James goes inside the MI6 headquarters and meets with M, played by Judi Dench, and who I think is great in anything, including this movie. Natalia's workplace blows up, and she tries to find a way to get out of there, but is successful, and I like these scenes quite a bit. They're acted very well, and it sets up the plot very well, in my opinion. James's assignment is to find Goldeneye and General Armaven, St. Petersburg, and Russia, and Q gives James some gadgets, and I'm liking Q as the actor looks more relaxed, and he's much better here than the previous movies in my opinion. Jack Quaid, a man who drives around James, and Jack Quaid, and I found, named Jack, oh I already said that, and I found funny when James is introduced himself as a stiff Brit. Jack drives James to a man he gave a limp named Valentin Sotovsky, played by Robbie Coltrane from the Harry Potter films. And I usually do not recognize him as he's a chameleon, and I like his character here. James is cooling off with, and Xena comes in and rough plays and with James as he's had enough, and she takes him to General Ormov and sees Alec, who's scarred, and of course Sean Bean is the bad guy. I mean, what other movie other than Silent Hill is he not the bad guy? So that was predictable for me, but he's back from the dead, and James wakes up to a screaming Natalia, so they almost get killed until they get out of it alive and get captured and imprisoned. James learns some things about Natalia, and they escape, and I like how much of a good time I'm having at this point. For example, James stops the bad guys with a tank chase sequence. I like that sequence. It was very fun. Alec has Natalia captured, and James is on the train track with a tank, As they crash and James gets on the train, puts a gun on Alec and Xena, and they escape and tracks them by using Boris as a tracking the bad guys. And Boris blows up the train with Alec, and they go to the Caribbean and meets up with Jack with a gift of a map to Cuba. And these scenes are quite an adventure, as all of these movies have been, but the only difference is it's much better this time than the previous adventures, I must say. They get to Cuba, and a missile hits their plane, but are not dead. But Xena arrives as James shoots the helicopter and kills Xena, and Alec gets the dish started, and that is one hell of a dish. That's like, as far as the size is concerned, as James and Natalia go inside the dish, it's aimed for London, and James and Natalia go their separate ways as James gets captured, while Natalia goes to the main computer as she fires the rocket as Boris keeps clicking a pen, and it explodes, and Alec puts a gun on Boris, and Alec and James shoot at each other and beat each other up, and Boris gets the computer working, and I love the way how he dies too, as he says, "I am invincible," and then boom, he dies. And James blocks the dish from firing at London and fights Alec to the death. James then drops Alec, and the dish weapon failed, and Natalia saves James, and as for Boris, he's frozen dead. I love that scene. It was pretty funny. This climax was badass. Was a badass climax in my opinion too. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 7.9 out of 10. Pierce Brosnan has charisma, and Famke Janssen has a menacing eroticness. I liked every character, as they have pretty damn good arcs. I did find Sean Bean as a typical villain here, as he was in other movies, except for Silent Hill, of course, but he was good. The plot was fun and badass and good to follow. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with Tomorrow Never Dies. And until next time, the name's Bond. James Bond.